Hi guys, welcome to Brandonic Reviews, part 3 in this Star Wars retrospective. Again, as I've said in the previous video, it's not so much a review of the films. I mean, I've kind of already done that. This is just kind of my solo video on my own, just kind of talking about each of the films leading up to The Force Awakens coming out now. Obviously, the first 3 of these videos, if you haven't watched the other 2, are going to be very kind of downbeat, maybe, let's put it that way, very kind of... I don't want to use the word negative, but I guess that's accurate. And this is part 3, so I'm talking about Revenge of the Sith. And again, not positive, really. I'm sure a lot of people out there already feel the same way as me, so I don't really need to speak about why the film was rubbish. But this one I think is probably the least terrible of the 3, to be honest. I think a lot of people agree with that. There are some times when I think, well, no, the Phantom Menace kind of had a few little things that vaguely resembled the original trilogy. They used some more kind of real sets, whereas it just felt like everything, apart from the actors in episodes 2 and 3, was just CGI. And it was a really bad merging of CGI with practical effects, and the practical effects pretty much are just the actors that are in the thing. Everything else just seems fake and just painted on a computer. Now, I'm not bashing CGI. CGI can be very good, and when it's done in such a way to the point where you don't even know it's CGI. A lot of people that complain about it don't actually realise how much of the stuff they see is actually CGI. But with this, everything just looked so fake and awful, and it really reduced the acting standards and quality of some of the actors in these films that were really good, and very evident in episode 3. I mean, some of Ewan McGregor's delivery, some of his lines in this film are just awful. I'm kind of getting away from the CGI thing now, just kind of general bitching about the film. Just so wooden and terrible, which is bad because Ewan McGregor is like such a good actor. Like I said in the previous video, I always think it's the job of a director to get the most out of the actors that they've got. And when you've got somebody who is a bad actor, a good director can bring that out of them, bring something out of them that they maybe didn't know existed. Whereas on the flip side, if you get a really good actor who's got a bad film director, that just really does show, and that is the case in this. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, great actor, but just some pretty terrible wooden lines in this. I think he was a bad choice. I think he was really badly cast in the prequels. I think he was just there for like the demographic thing. But not that there's anything, you know, they had to have a black actor in there. Well, there's plenty of black actors they could have had that would have been like really good for the character of Mace Windu. Samuel L. Jackson's strengths don't really kind of go well with the Mace Windu character. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that anyway. But positive things, it's really hard to kind of come up with some positive stuff. But let's try that here anyway. Ian McDiarmid as as Palpatine was really great in this film. I don't think there was anything in this where he came, because I think the thing with him is he was kind of advantaged because he was playing the villain. And he was obviously enjoying it. The actor was obviously kind of enjoying the part and running with it. He didn't really get to be wooden, if you know what I mean. He was very almost theatrical, kind of like panto style, you know, pantomime kind of thing. So I think he was kind of fortunate in that his part managed to be something very different to any of the other characters in the film, just because he could be kind of evil and have fun with it. So I think his performance was really great in this. One of the few things that I thought actually kind of worked. Now the actual visuals themselves, I think just the kind of maybe the texture wrapping of some of the vehicles, the backgrounds, the CGI characters in this were definitely improved from episodes 1 and 2. They didn't look quite as bad, but again, I don't want to go down that road because I've kind of moaned about that already. But my point is, while I'm trying to be positive, although it was bad and overused, it wasn't as bad looking as it was in the prequels. Any other positive stuff? Again, the sound effects by, I think it was Ben Burt who did all the Star Wars films, including Episode 3, was really good. I mean, I didn't mention that in my review of Episode 2. I mentioned it in Episode 1 review, but it's pretty much in all prequels. The sound effects were just really great, and then that's one positive thing. The score as well by John Williams was great. I'm really happy that John Williams is doing the Force Awakens score. Even if he doesn't do any more from that point on, I think it was really important that he does the score for the first one. Then at least there's kind of a handing of the torch, passing of the torch, whatever the catchphrase is. Because without John Williams' score, I think that's a major character of the films. So obviously, even when you've got your prequels, which are pretty terrible, they've still got some semblance of normality when it comes to Star Wars and the standards set by the original trilogy. So that was another positive for Episode 3 anyway. Now again, this is something that when it came out, I was still drinking the Star Wars Kool-Aid back then. It was 2005, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm drinking the Star Wars Kool-Aid now for The Force Awakens, but I feel it's not just blindly, because there was a time, I mean, if you go back 2 years, look at the reviews that me and my co-reviewer did, we were talking about the Star Wars films, we were kind of putting the context of, well, in a couple of years' time, there's the episodes 7, 8, and 9 that'll be starting to come out. We were saying, you know, we don't really want to go see these unless there's something about them particularly grabs us. We've kind of sacked them off. So we aren't drinking the Star Wars Kool-Aid at this time. I think that I'm optimistic about The Force Awakens because it looks good, having learned the lessons. I was just excited for episodes 1, 2, and 3 because they were episodes 1, 2, and 3 in Star Wars, and Star Wars is great. But yeah, definitely at the time when it came out in 2005, I was definitely kind of on board with that still. And it wasn't until sort of shortly after that, I just kind of, yeah, these films really aren't all that good, are they? In fact, they're pretty bad. So that's kind of how I feel about that. It's got to the point now where just having just watched the prequel trilogy, I don't really feel like I will watch these films again for a number of years. I think next time I'm going to have a Star Wars marathon, I'm just going to watch episodes 4, 5, and 6. Thing with me is I feel like a bit of a completist. Like when I'm watching like a film series, I feel like I do have to watch all of them, even if some of them are pretty bad. So like if I'm watching all of like the Alien films, the Predator films, I could watch like the Alien films like once every 6 months, but I feel like I have to watch the Alien vs Predator films. I don't really want to watch them once every 6 months, so it kind of makes me leave it for ages. And there's part of me wants to watch the Alien films, but it's like, well, I have to watch those others because I'm a completist, but I don't really watch those others because they're not all that good. And it's the same with Star Wars. It's like, I've really wanted to watch episodes 4, 5, and 6 for like the last couple of months, just because of the anticipation of the new Star Wars film. And I thought, well, yeah, but I'm a completist, I'm going to watch them, I have to watch all the others. And I don't want to watch all the others. And it's literally now, when I've just finished watching episode 3, it's like, I'm done. It's like that video of the guy was on like I'm a Celebrity or something, and it's kind of used as a this is me at 5 o'clock, you know, when my shift finishes kind of video.
Yes! Knew I could do it! Get me out of this shithole!
Yeah, pretty much. That's the feeling that I get from knowing that I've finished watching the the prequels.
Yes! Knew I could do it! Get me out of this shithole!
So glad they're out of the way. But yeah, seriously, in the future, I'm just going to watch episodes 4, 5, and 6 and just bollocks to being a completist. I also don't like being bored for like 7 hours, which is what pretty much nearly 7 hours, what the prequels runtime are when you put them all together. That's quite a long time to sit down watching films you don't like. You know, just annoy you and just make you kind of angry or whatever. But the thing is, they put me off the original trilogy. That's the thing, because now, for the first time in like for the first time in months, I don't want to watch the episodes 4, 5, and 6 at least for a while, because I've got this bitter taste from the prequels. And that's how it had been for the last few years. I mean, I'd gone years without watching any of the Star Wars films just because I was so kind of disillusioned by them, which really sucks, because I'm always one that says, you know, if they're going to remake a film or if they're going to do a sequel to a film that is like majestic, and should be left alone. I would say if they're going to do a sequel to it or a remake, bollocks to it. It doesn't affect the the original film. It's like this Star Trek. A lot of people, not overwhelmingly, but there were a lot of people out there that did not like the J.J. Abrams stuff, the 2009 film or the subsequent one, partly because it changed the timeline, and a lot of people thought, well, this means that all the Star Trek stuff that I love from this point on doesn't happen anymore. And it's like, well, that's bullshit, because watch your DVDs, they're not like blanked, they're still there. So I always say, point is, if they're going to remake someone, do a sequel or whatever, does it really matter, because you've still got your originals? Where, I say it doesn't affect it. Well, with Star Wars, it didn't affect it, it infected it. A big part of the problem is the fact that the original films, you can't watch them. You can only watch the special editions, which now have ties with the prequels. They put Hayden Christensen's head in the last scene. I mean, if it was just like one minor scene halfway through the film, fine. But it's like the last scene, that the ending, the note, the last note of the franchise has really bad, stupid looking special effects where they've added Hayden Christensen's head onto Anakin Skywalker, and it looks stupid. You can, whenever they do that, it looks stupid. The head's kind of moving in at an angle that it shouldn't be. But also it's got the whole prequels connotation, so you can't even watch the Star Wars films now, the originals, and ignore the prequels, because there's that constant reminder that they're there. And seriously, I hope they do release those original trilogy in the pre 2004. I can live without. I can live without the 2004 ones, but I can live with the 97 versions. Because when people say I want the originals back, there's various degrees over the years. 97 wasn't the first time they changed those films, so again, you can say, well, which version? Because there was ones that didn't even say Episode 4: A New Hope. It just said Star Wars, and then it kind of ran on. So is that what you want? Possibly. There were some things in the special editions I didn't mind, but at least up to 2004, including 2004 onwards, those special editions, they had the prequels with the connotations. Return of the Jedi even has Jar Jar Binks at the end as well. You can see him and hear him very well. Once you know he's there, if you don't know he's there, I don't want to ruin it, because you won't be able to watch that again in Return of the Jedi. So I'm not going to tell you where it is, but he's in there anyway. God, please don't bring him back in episode 7, 8, or 9, unless he's dead. But I know they're not doing that. I'm kind of joking. J.J. Abrams has said no. Jar Jar is not in this. So I'm really kind of getting off topic now, because I'm supposed to be talking about episode 3. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to do some reviews for episodes 4, 5, and 6 when I watch them. But I'm going to leave it a while, maybe a week or so, just to really kind of detox from the prequels. Because I say I've done this the last 2 times, in fact, no, the last 3 times, going back over the last few years, that I've watched all the Star Wars films. By the time I get to episodes 4, 5, and 6, I am burnt out and pissed off, and really not in the mood for them. So I'm going to separate my viewing of the prequels with my viewing of the originals. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to sit through the Hayden Christensen reminder at the end of episode 6, but there you go. Until they re-release those original cuts of those on Blu-ray in high def, because you can watch them, but you can only watch them on tape. Have you tried that? Seriously, I do have them on tape. Not a good prospect by today's standards. When you're used to watching films either on DVD or Blu-ray, going back to tape now, no, I can put up with Hayden Christensen's head, it's fine. So yeah, right, let's leave it there. So I don't know when I'm going to do the reviews for episodes 4, 5, and 6, but they will be more positive. There will be nothing but positive, to be honest, in the next week or so. And then we'll obviously be reviewing The Force Awakens when it comes out on the 17th of December. And I've got tickets booked for that as well. Really looking forward to it, so we'll see how that goes. I don't think there's any other trailers coming out for that in the near future. I think we're pretty much done. There might be some more TV spots, but I'm kind of trying to stay away from it now, because I think they're just kind of rehashing a lot of the same footage, but maybe giving like a couple of little variations on things. But yeah, no, tickets are booked for episode 7, so I'm looking forward to that. So, right, finally, I'm just going to leave it there and say, if you don't mind watching me ranting about films like I have done here, go to brandxreviews.com. There's some information coming up on how you can follow us on social media. So for now, I'm going to leave it there and say, may the farce of the prequels be with you, and may the force be with you with all subsequent films, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out and we will see you next time. Thank you very much. Come on, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus fucking fannies. I'm pretty sure that's blasphemy. Oh, for fuck's sake. Stay. That's not going to stay, is it? Another one for the outtakes. Alright, here we go. Right, yeah, fuck it, bollocks.